Good afternoon. We appreciate you taking time out of your afternoon to be with us today. My name is Sally Millsap, and I serve as the pastor of Disciples in Action at First United Methodist Church, Murfreesboro. Please allow me to recognize a few groups before we start our program. First, thank you to Pinnacle Financial Partners for supporting our event today, as well as Blackman High School's student-led catering department for providing this delicious meal. We are grateful for your partnership and support of our community. Second, we thank our dedicated table captains for their leadership of today's event. And thank you all for being here today for our fourth annual Partners in Transformation Luncheon. Many of you are already familiar with the work of Project Transformation. Others of you are just beginning to learn about us. Today, we're going to learn about Project Transformation. You're going to have an opportunity to learn about our mission, our work, and our impact. I have seen the impact of Project Transformation over the last 2 summers with the coronavirus pandemic. I've been particularly impressed with Project Transformation's ability to show up and be there for our children, our college students, and our churches. And I know God has been with us each step of the way. To start things off, I'd like to introduce Project Transformation's Executive Director, Courtney Lawson, who is joining us from the PT office to share the history and the impact of this multi-dimensional ministry. Please welcome Courtney.
Thank you, Sally. Good afternoon. My name is Courtney Lawson, and it is my honor to serve as Executive Director of Project Transformation Tennessee. We are still here. This has been one of the most critical messages over the last year and a half. During the height of the pandemic, I watched as our volunteers and young adults shared this message through masked faces and smiling eyes while distributing meals and books to families each day. I heard it as staff members and parents would call each other to check in and just see how one another are doing. I felt it walking into the doors of our summer program this year as our children and young adults connected over reading and play. We are still here. With hope and grit and love for one another, we are still here. And through it all, we have been reminded in powerful ways that God created us to be in community with one another. We are interconnected, meaning that I cannot fully live into my God given potential until you do, until all of us do. At PT, we envision a world that is rooted in love, pursues the equity of all people, and amplifies God's call on every life. It is this vision that inspires our programs with children and young adults, that guides our approach to partner with families, young people, neighbors, and churches. God calls us to embody love and work for justice. And we have faith that God will transform us and the broken systems in our world. We believe that now more than ever, the ministry of Project Transformation is needed. In fact, because of our established network of church and community partners, we believe PT is uniquely positioned for just such a moment as this. We anticipate a long road ahead of healing and remedial learning for our community. Many of our students are catching up from having gone months without stepping foot into the doors of a brick and mortar classroom. On top of this, many children have experienced a wide range of trauma over the last several months. By some estimates, adverse childhood experiences have increased by 35%. Because we understand the critical link between learning and social emotional health, we believe that Project Transformation is equipped for the task ahead. That's why our approach prioritizes nurturing the social emotional health of children and young adults, all while maintaining safety. Our holistic program integrates academic progression and literacy, social and emotional learning, and plain old fun. Daily activities include structured physical fitness, creative arts, recreational play, mindfulness activities that target self management and responsible decision making, and yes, one on one reading time with community volunteers. Planning and leading these programs are talented college age young adults who serve as mentors and role models to our children. All the while, they are developing as principled Christian leaders and exploring various ministry related vocations. Praise be to God as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Project Transformation Tennessee and for all of the relationships we have formed together. We are still here. Thank you for standing with us.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our first speaker who will share with us about her experience with Project Transformation. Jennifer Hall is a reading interventionist with Murfreesboro City Schools, and she has served on the PT launch team in Murfreesboro. She has volunteered with Project Transformation in Murfreesboro for the last 6 years. Listen with me as we hear her journey with Project Transformation and how the community of Murfreesboro has played such an integral part in that journey.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Hall, and I am a member of St. Mark's United Methodist Church here in Murfreesboro. I've been a teacher in Murfreesboro since 1994. About 10 years ago, I heard about an amazing program called Project Transformation. I heard about it through a program at my church. That evening, I told Jackson Henry and Dr. Craig Goff that when we get involved with this program, I would love to volunteer. I mean, what was not to love? An essentially free summer camp offered to precious children that have volunteers read to them each day one-on-one. The following summer, I volunteered at Antioch. I was hooked. I haven't looked back. Soon after that summer, I received a phone call from Jackson Henry asking if I would like to volunteer for an informational meeting about Project Transformation and the possibility of having it in Murfreesboro. Lenore Culberson led the meeting, and we brainstormed ideas about how we could make it happen. How could we bring Project Transformation to Murfreesboro? Somehow, through all of the evening and the activities, I ended up volunteering to be in charge of leading that group to get Project Transformation. Keep in mind, I had just returned to teaching 5th grade after becoming a mom to my 4th child. I was worried that my husband would be really angry with me. Turns out he wasn't. He kind of knew I would volunteer for something. That school year was amazing. I loved teaching 5th grade. I taught math and science, and my friend taught the reading and social studies. We had 2 fantastic groups of students. One of those students was a shy, reserved, very smart young lady named Sarah. Eventually, PT got up and running in Murfreesboro, and interns started living in the dorms at MTSU, and eventually we ended up having housing for the interns at the Wesley Foundation. It was happening. We opened a second site in Woodbury. Interns would come for the summer. They would find a special place in your heart, and then they would leave, but continue to keep in touch through social media. It was awesome. Each year, St. Mark's would offer to provide the first meal for the interns as they came to the campus. I wanted to have that opportunity to meet each intern. I fell in love with them. Each group was very different, yet very energetic and exciting and passionate about what they were going to do. The reading part that they were doing was making a difference in the lives of children. But that was only one of the 3 main purposes of Project Transformation. I was ready for a change, and so I became a part of the intern experience, volunteering for the intern experience through Project Transformation. So you fast forward to May of 2021. I was so excited to be able to meet the new interns. Due to COVID, it was different, but at least we could actually gather together with restrictions. We had to wear masks, but it was worth it. We also had to social distance, but we also made that happen. That day, I set up the food, and we gather in a very large circle, social distancing, of course, and we begin to introduce ourselves. I'm always nervous at this experience, but I'm also very excited. I know what's coming for these guys. I know that they are going to work very hard. I know that they're going to be very tired. I also know that they're going to come out a transformed version of themselves. I know the impact that the children will have on them and the relationships that they will make with each other. I also know that they are going to impact the children. It's a win-win situation. As we're standing in this circle, I look up and I see her eyes. My mind starts to race. Who is that? I know those eyes. I'm internally searching for a name, a place, anything, just to remember whose eyes those are. Oh my goodness, it hit me. It was Sarah. The same Sarah that was shy and reserved and smart, sitting in a 5th grade chair in my classroom long ago. I could not believe it. We quickly reminisced, and then the next person was Madeline, a friend of my daughter's who went to middle school and high school with her. It was too much. I could not believe it. We ended up eating and lunch and talking that day about the experiences that the girls had had and that they were going to have. The weeks that followed that lunch, though, I couldn't get them out of my mind. I kept thinking about those girls. Sarah, who was once in my class as a 5th grader, Madeline, who was a friend of my child. It's really crazy to think how your paths will cross again. You see, when you teach a child, they become a part of your heart. They become a part of you. You want to see them succeed. You want to see them happy. You want to see them enjoy themselves. You want to make sure that you have given them every opportunity for those things to happen as their teacher. When you see a former student that maybe, just maybe, you had an impact on their life during Project Transformation, then know that they are about to have a huge impact on a kiddo's life. It can bring you an enormous feeling of joy and excitement for them. Project Transformation means many things to different people. This past summer, it became something new to me and to the community of Murfreesboro. It has now come full circle. People who were raised here, attended school here, and are now adults here are giving back to the kiddos in our community. I would say Murfreesboro, the community, is being transformed. So thank you, Project Transformation.
Thank you, Jennifer. Lydia Angus is a Project Transformation young adult alumna, and she first served with PT as an intern in 2018. Lydia served in Clarksville, Nashville, and this last summer served in Murfreesboro at First Cumberland Presbyterian Church. She is a student at UT Southern and is in her first semester of student teaching. Please welcome Lydia.
Good afternoon. It's wonderful today to be together with you in this place. Everyone needs a place. For a child, that place might be a shoebox to collect shells and rocks and coins and other childhood treasures. For a teenager, it may be a much longed for car or a room to hang out with friends. For others, perhaps it's a comfortable reading chair underneath a shady tree, a favorite beach, or sitting in a church sanctuary. Maybe it's the home you grew up in, or the grandparents' home you visited, or the town where you were born. We all need a place. As a preacher's kid, I moved around a lot. Nashville, Clarksville, McMinnville, Winchester, always in Tennessee, but when you're a kid, it might as well have been another state. Our family was pretty much always on the go. Even when we got settled in one town, we knew there would be a next one. And wherever I was, I felt like I was in a fishbowl. When your dad is a preacher, you feel like all eyes are on you, even if they aren't. That may be why some of my earliest memories are full of anxiety. I didn't really feel at home in my own skin. I'm not sure I ever really had a place where I felt like I belonged. Questions swirled. Will I find my place in the world? Or will I be out of place? Will I be rejected? Or will I be accepted? These questions seemed to quadruple when I entered into high school, as I had experienced trauma that resulted in the depletion of my confidence and assumed that my worthiness dissipated. I learned about project transformation during my freshman year of college at Tennessee Tech, where I was majoring in education. I knew I needed a summer job, and my dad had heard about this thing, Project Something, he said. It involves reading with kids. After a little research, I learned that something was transformation. For me, that word turned out to be prophetic. I applied online, and to be perfectly honest, it was an accident when I clicked the box that said I was interested in serving as a reading program coordinator. Then again, maybe not. Because when I started going through the interview process with Sarah McCormick, she told me that she thought I would be a great fit for that job. What did she see in me? I had no idea, but I agreed. Showing up at PT that first summer, I envisioned an extended mission trip. I had been on a lot of mission trips growing up. Turns out, the community that I was assigned to was New Providence United Methodist Church in Clarksville. Ironically, this church is where my father served as a pastor when I was born. So that summer, I actually got to teach children how to read in the very Sunday school classroom where my mom taught me and my friends each week. It seemed to be so much bigger when I was little. I remember going to daycare at this church. I remember me and all my siblings living in the parsonage at Clarksville. Through Project Transformation, I was brought back to this place. My first PT summer was incredible. Hard, but incredible. As a reading program coordinator, I was responsible for leading our daily reading program with children alongside another intern, Claire Harney. Quickly, our kids started calling us the Reading Ladies. We even made our own t-shirts that said the Reading Ladies, and we proudly wore them. I loved those kids, and I also loved my fellow interns. Usually, I get anxious meeting and speaking with new people, but at PT, I didn't. The spirit in this place was so welcoming and upbeat. As diverse as everyone was, we all showed up for the same reasons: to serve, to make a difference, to explore our own calling, and so we had plenty to talk about. There were some hard things too. I'm so grateful for my fellow interns and my house pastor for listening to me and encouraging me through that summer, the good, the bad, and the ugly. At this place, while I struggled with confidence in myself as well as viewing myself as worthy, I had a team that was continually supportive. So you see, Project Transformation became my holy place of both human and divine fellowship. Little by little, I began to understand what it feels like to have a place to belong, a place to feel supported, a place to be a part of an authentic community of mutuality. When I returned to school after my PT summer, that sense of belonging began to disappear. I began to feel detached, isolated, alone. My anxiety started to return. Assignments were piling up. Depression creeped in. So I decided to take a break from school to reflect and regroup. During this time, I sought the support of helping professionals. I began to realize some things about places where I belong and the places where I don't belong. First off, I don't like big environments. I don't like feeling like I'm just a number. And I really don't like feeling invisible. At Project Transformation, you are not invisible. Everyone is valued, everyone is needed, everyone has a place. This is why I decided to reapply to return to Project Transformation for a second summer. I was accepted as a site coordinator at Hamilton United Methodist Church in Antioch, Tennessee, which was a very large leap of faith for me. And actually, I applied for a third summer too. While I ended up postponing my commitment due to concerns during the beginning COVID-19 pandemic, I joined Project Transformation for my third summer, this most recent one, in Murfreesboro at First Cumberland Presbyterian Church. At the beginning of the 10th summer of PT, I completed lead team training week as usual. This was my third summer at Project Transformation, and I felt like I was really starting to really starting to get the groove of it all. It was going to be another great summer with great kids, great interns. The night before intern training week was filled with anticipation and excitement. I crocheted and read Holes by Louis Satcher in an attempt to calm my nerves. However, on the early morning of the first day of intern training week, I received a phone call from my father, one that I didn't realize the weight of until a few hours later. My sweet mama was being life flighted to Vanderbilt. I packed up and decided to ride with my dad to Nashville, which I was conveniently en route to when we had received a heartbreaking phone call. My mother had a massive brain bleed due to complications of an arteriovenous malformation that was located in her brainstem. This resulted in very little brain activity. In this moment, I quickly learned how to rely on others. I could not be at intern training week to greet my new team. And everyone at PT knew this and supported me in the ways that they could. I had the privilege of staying the night with my mama in her last moments and took the week to grieve with my family. During this week, I had a big choice to make. Do I go home for the summer and rest? Or do I go back to work with a new team, a new site, and a fresh knapsack filled with big emotions? Again, at Project Transformation, you are not invisible. Everyone is valued, everyone is needed, everyone has a place. The Project Transformation summers that I had experienced before this one, I learned how to value myself and believe myself to be capable. I grew confident in myself. This summer, I learned something entirely different. It is an invaluable lesson that I would not trade the world for. Not just how to sympathize, but how to empathize. Because I grew comfortable with living with my previous trauma, I was not as raw with my previous kids and my teams as I was this past summer. This time, my wounds were fresh. There were moments on my lunch break where I genuinely just laid on the ground, draped my cardigan over my face because I didn't have anything else in me to give in that moment. And that was just where I was at. It felt dark. I felt alone. Just so you know, I wasn't truly alone. I had phenomenal interns and PT staff that endlessly supported me and my needs. As site coordinator, one of my responsibilities was to help our kids when they became dysregulated. It happens to all of us. Those moments when we just want to scream, hide, run away. When the emotions get too loud, too big, we just need a moment. In previous summers, children often would bring these moments to me. Those were the times when I got to be a part of a holy place, to be present with a child who is sharing their feelings, to help them understand and name their emotions, to be the one to say, "You're normal, you're okay, you're safe here," to show them what love and acceptance looks like. This summer, with these new life experiences, I learned how to empathize with my kids and other humans, rather than to sympathize. This summer was the hardest I had ever experienced. With this, I developed such deep and rooted relationships with some of my kids because I understood exactly how they felt in those moments. While I didn't always know the exact backstories, I understood why one of my kids wanted to crawl under the table and talk to no one during group time. Anxiety or overwhelming feelings can really make you not want to talk with others. And I knew how others felt when she just felt like she couldn't participate in movement minutes that day and chose to sit out instead. Staying up late thinking about something heavy or having your little brother kick you in the bed will really make you feel tired and not want to run around the next day. I got it. I wanted to go sit out with them too. And as site coordinator, I had the privilege to go sit and be with them in those moments. In these moments, I got to talk with my kids about why they felt the way they did. And I could say, I understand. And you know, it helped me to take those deep breaths with them. Throughout my time at Project Transformation, I learned that I can lead. I am worthy. I learned that I'm a pretty good manager. I realized that I have a gift for organization. I also learned that I love working with kids, with every piece they bring with them. I learned how to sit with them and breathe with them and love doing so. Through Project Transformation, these experiences have changed the direction of my life. I am now a student teacher at the University of Tennessee Southern. After I graduate, I plan to relax and process some of my recent life experiences and work on my creative outlets. Then, I will hop right on into the classroom and see where life is going to take me, because your plans will likely change. Everyone needs a place. As a young adult who was searching for my purpose, I needed a place to explore my God-given gifts. Children need a place too, a place to belong, a place to grow, a place to experience the transformational love of authentic community. For almost a decade, Project Transformation has provided those places for hundreds of young adult interns and thousands of children. Thank you for supporting this ministry. Thank you for being here today. And thank you for listening to my PT story.
Hi, my name is Mike Waldrop, and I serve as chair of Project Transformation Stones River Advisory Council. I would like to thank you all for joining us for our virtual partners in Transformation Luncheon. I began volunteering with PT a little over 3 years ago when I started attending St. Mark's United Methodist Church. I was recruited by Dr. Dorothy Murphy, and believe me, nobody says no to Dorothy. But it has been such a pleasure to serve as a volunteer with PT and to really get the opportunity to read with children both virtually and in person. It's been very meaningful and helpful for me, and I believe overall helpful for our community. I have certainly been inspired by the stories shared and the visions offered. I've been reminded yet again of why I support this ministry, and that's why it is my honor to invite you to join me. You have heard stories of people who have been impacted by this ministry, and you have heard how together we are having a lasting impact in our community. Will you make a financial investment in Project Transformation's ministry today? It is not just an investment in Project Transformation. It is truly an investment in the community, our community. I believe it is one of the most important investments any of us can make. Our greatest need this year is in PT, is support for our programs. Project Transformation's work has never been more critical. When you give today, you help to meet immediate needs while also investing in the long-term success of young people throughout our community. Your generosity ensures Project Transformation will still be there. PT has been caring for families in our community for 6 years now. And with your support, PT will continue to be caring for these families in our community for many more years. Just in case you need another reason to give, a challenge gift has been made by several families within our community to inspire others to give and to help us meet our luncheon goal. For any dollar that is given, it will be matched up to $10,000. This is an incredible opportunity for which we are so grateful. This challenge allows us to double the size of any gift that you make today. Your gift is important, and we sincerely thank you on behalf of the young people we serve. Now, please click on that donate link in the chat to give. We sincerely thank you on behalf of the children, families, and community we serve. And we thank you all for the most important gift that you have given today, and that is the gift of your valuable time. We really appreciate that you took time out of your busy day to be here to learn more about Project Transformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for inviting us to be a part of this transformative work. We have a great opportunity today to strengthen the lives of young people across our community through Project Transformation. Together, we can transform lives. Thank you all for being here, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday.